This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to Talk Business and Politics Daily. It is Tuesday, July 12th. Let's check out today's top stories. As part of Governor Asa Hutchinson's moves to bulk up the state's workforce to meet industry needs, the Arkansas Department of Workforce Services released an economic security report of employment and earnings outcomes for degrees and certificates at state-supported institutions of higher education. The 94-page report confirms anecdotal and other similar data that college students with higher degrees make more than their counterparts entering the workplace, although the costs to attend institutions of higher learning have doubled over the last decade. Read more on the findings at talkbusiness.net. Northwest Arkansas in January 2017 will be home to Brightwater, a facility that some are saying is a unique culinary school that will put the region on the map for food enthusiasts and professionals around the world. Brightwater, to be managed by Northwest Arkansas Community College, will open in the former Tyson Foods fry plant in downtown Bentonville, thanks to $15 million in funding from the Walton Family Foundation. Talk Business and Politics' Kim Souza says Brightwater could catapult the region economically and transform Bentonville's 8th Street market into a food hub.
With that, they're thinking that 4- and 5-star chefs working with local farmers and other entrepreneurs together will help build out an ecosystem around the culinary arts. If you think about the way the suppliers have built out a large ecosystem around retail and Walmart, the Walton family believed the same thing was possible around the culinary arts.
The University of Central Arkansas in Conway launching a new coding academy. The Arkansas Coding Academy will provide turnkey education and training opportunities to those looking for careers in information technology. Former Iron Yard director Mary Dunlap will lead the effort, which has the backing of Conway's tech businesses, including Axiom, Rockfish, First Orion, and Matova. Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton for president today, ending months of a bitter primary battle. Sanders, who has seen the Democratic Party Platform Committee adopt some of his core messages, such as a $15 per hour minimum wage, said he was committed to helping Clinton defeat Donald Trump in November. Finally, Senator Tom Cotton is making headlines today for something controversial that he's tweeted. Cotton and his wife Anna announced that they'll be parents to a new baby again. The couple's first son, Gabriel, appeared in a tweet today labeled, "Breaking news, I'm getting a little brother for Christmas this year. Congratulations." And those are your top stories of the day. You can check out a full read on those articles and other stories that are in process at our website at talkbusiness.net. A word from our sponsors, and we're back with Shannon Newton, Executive Director of the Arkansas Trucking Association. What does she think of the governor's challenge for long-term highway funding without raising taxes? Plus, the home sales report shows the real estate market's strength, and Michael Cook and Sarah Huckabee Sanders discuss the ups and downs of the presidential race and that FBI report on Hillary Clinton. We're back after this.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Time now to talk business, politics, and policy with Shannon Newton. She's the Executive Director of the Arkansas Trucking Association. Good afternoon. Good to have you with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for asking me.
Let's talk about some things going on in highways, trucking, just it all kind of intersects, no pun intended there.
Sure.
The governor, about a little over a week and a half ago, starts to talk about he wants to see more than just a 5-year plan to fix the Arkansas's highways. He wants a long-term plan. What is a long-term plan to you?
A long-term plan to me is a challenge, but a long-term plan, in my opinion, would allow us to not talk about highways for a couple of sessions consecutively. I feel like that's it just continues to come back up. A long-term plan would include some sort of long-term funding source that wouldn't require constantly revisiting that issue.
Well, the governor says that he's interested in you guys and the Good Roads Council and your working group to find a funding source or funding sources, but he's really not that keen on raising new taxes. Where does that leave you?
Right. I thought it was interesting, and I was a little bit surprised at the parameters that the governor outlined. But I do think it's a fair starting point. I mean, I think he's invested a lot of his time, his capital in producing the highway improvement plan that we got in the special session. And so to kind of use those parameters as we look forward is a fair request, in my opinion, from the governor. But I do think that I think it basically wipes the slate clean. At this point, he has said these are his parameters. Let's forget every other preconceived notion that we had up until this point and start over and really go out and allow all of the stakeholders to come back to the table and brainstorm, because perhaps some of the things that we've continued to throw out again and again are not those options that we're going to go with.
And do you think that will happen? Do you think that the working group will come together and say, let's forget about what we've been talking about for the last year and a half, 2 years?
Well, I think the Good Roads Foundation is a unique body. It does have a various array of stakeholders that are engaged at some level in that group. To say that I think those who have been invested in it for years really know what the challenges are. I think we know what the real options are. I think we're being directed to some extent towards existing revenue. I think existing revenue, the governor added that caveat, if you could find an offset, that there's an opportunity to look at existing revenue. And then I think clearly he's outlined that if we wanted to do something and put it before the people, then in that case, the traditional methods of new taxes or perhaps a large offset from general does become an option, but we'd have to take it to the people.
It seems to me, I've been around politics for a quarter century almost. It seems to me that the voter-referred option is really probably the direction that things are going to go. Do you support that? Does that allow more stakeholders basically to invest in a highway plan if you're allowing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of citizens to vote on a plan that a group of stakeholders have come up with?
Sure. I don't think there's anything that can be bad about putting it to the voters other than just timing and expense. That's really what comes with, deflecting something out of the legislature to the people. It takes longer in order for it to come into fruition, and then it costs more money, to run a campaign or to, educate the voters about the election.
Right. So next step is what? What do you see happening next?
I think the next step, I think the Good Roads Foundation is excited and going to kind of latch on to this challenge that the governor has given them. They're currently trying to map out what that process looks like. And to them, I think it's really important that we pull in the legislative branch. I think they have, to some extent, we ask them to do a lot, but perhaps they haven't been included in the process as much as they would like to have been. And so I think that's the biggest challenge and charge, is to figure out how we engage and really take input from everyone that wants to participate in this process.
Well, they all have to drive on a road to get to Little Rock, so they ought to be invested with you.
Yes, they all have highways, county roads, and interstates and throughout the state.
All right, Shannon Newton with the Arkansas Trucking Association, thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
you. After the break, home sales in Arkansas are booming. How big is the boom? Plus, Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Michael Cook battle over the latest in the presidential race. We're back after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
Well, home sales show little sign of slowing down in the natural state. Our latest Arkansas home sales reports brought to you by Deltic Timber and Arvest Bank. It details the first 5 months of 2016 in the housing market. So home sales in Arkansas's 4 largest markets, Central, Northwest, Northeast, and Fort Smith, totaled 2,560 in May. That is up 13% compared to the number of homes sold a year ago, and it is up 23% compared to May of 2014. So it was a red hot month, but we want to look at these numbers on a year-to-date basis. So year-to-date, the number of homes sold in Arkansas totaled 9,804 in those first 5 months of 2016. That's up 11.6% compared to the same period in 2015. And what's more, the 5-month tally tops the state's previous high, which was pre-recession level in 2006. So the combined value of those homes sold in the January through May period, it was $1.7 billion. That is up 16% compared to the same period in 2015, and it's up nearly 34% compared to the same period in 2014. How about sales price per home? They're up. For the first 5 months of the year, sales price per home is averaging $175,888. That's up 4% compared to last year, and it's up 10.5% compared to the same period in 2014. Now, you can read much more data from our Arkansas home sales report on our website at talkbusiness.net. If you don't see it on our top stories page, just search Arkansas home sales report on our site and it'll pull right up. A quick break and we recap a healthy and solid debate on the politics of last week's email server decision by the FBI. Republican strategist Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Democratic strategist Michael Cook talk politics after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
On our Sunday broadcast edition of Talk Business and Politics, I was joined by Democrat Michael Cook and Republican Sarah Huckabee Sanders. They're both contributors to Talk Business and Politics. Of course, we had to rehash last week's big campaign bombshell when the FBI decided not to bring charges against Hillary Clinton. Vindication or no vindication? That's where we begin. Was she cleared? Was she vindicated or not by the FBI investigation?
Well, a couple things. First, let's acknowledge this was a mistake for her to do this private email server. She's admitted it. She's apologized for it. She shouldn't have done it. So that's wrong. Number two, now that Comey had some tough words for her on Tuesday that she'll have to deal with in the fall. But the bottom line is, the Republicans were hoping and praying that she'd be indicted, that she'd have to be facing trial and so on and so forth. This now puts it behind her in terms of the looming legal issue. Now, of course, Republicans are still going to use it in the fall. And, right. But the thing about this whole issue, it's already baked into the polling cake. There's nothing new here. She has trust issues. She does have trust issues.
I completely disagree. I don't think this is remotely behind Hillary Clinton. I think the FBI investigation actually made things worse for her because it proved two things. One, she lied blatantly lied, and 2, she put our nation and our national security at risk. And so those are 2 very disqualifying things for her. At this point in moving forward, I think it's less about the crime and a lot more about the cover-up. Look, I'm a mom, and I know you said she apologized for it, but when my kids do something wrong, they get punished. When Hillary Clinton does something wrong, she asks for a promotion. There shouldn't be one set of rules for the Clintons and another for everybody else. I think this is just the beginning, and I certainly don't think it's baked into the cake, and I think our numbers are going to be very largely affected by this.
Of course, you can catch more of that conversation in its entirety on our website at talkbusiness.net. Just go to the video section of our website and you'll find it there. And you can keep up with breaking news each and every day on that website. Plus follow us on Twitter at TB Arkansas or on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just plug in Talk Business and Politics to find us and follow. If you want to receive our daily email newsletters, they're free and you can receive them every morning in your inbox before 7 a.m. Just email me at roby@talkbusiness.net and I'll sign you up. And if you want to listen to a podcast of this show, perhaps on your commute to and from work, we're in the iTunes Store and on Stitcher, or you can just play us through your smartphone. Well, that wraps up today's Talk Business and Politics Daily Digital Newscast. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care.